Well, I feel like I have been planting out 2025's garden for months now, and I guess technically I have. But today is the day that we finally finish planting 2025's backyard garden. Hey y'all, my name is Emily Ann and this is the Sasser House. If you're new, we're so glad that you are here. We have been planting this garden out together all season long, from our tomatoes to our green beans, our peppers, our potatoes, our carrots, and the list goes on and on and on. But today we are planting our pumpkins, watermelon, and everything else that's in this basket that needs to go into the ground. The first thing we're going to start with are these beautiful cattle panel arches that Chris put in recently. And originally our plan was to do pumpkins and watermelons and cantaloupes all intermingled right here on these panels. But when I looked it up this morning, I found out that you're really not supposed to plant pumpkins and melons together. So now this arch is going to be just a pumpkin arch, which makes me really happy. I think that's even better. And we'll follow behind it with the melons. That's enough of me chit-chatting. It's time to get into it. I have our seed packets right here with all the varieties of pumpkins that we are growing this season in our garden. So we have some gourds, which we have never grown before, and I'm really excited to grow these. Plus, I think that they will be really interesting because they're smaller, growing in between the larger pumpkins in our arches. Then we have some long pie pumpkins. These are just like normal pie pumpkins, they're just a different shape. We have these Gerardelle pumpkins, I think that's how you say them, but they're a beautiful blue grayish pumpkin, and it says that they are rich in flavor and creamy when roasted for pies, soups, or baked goods. So I really wanted to grow those. And then we have our saved seeds from last year. These are some green striped cushaw squash seeds. I'm gonna grow these with our pumpkins as well. I've got our regular pie pumpkins that we saved seed from last year, and then our Long Island cheese pumpkins. So we're gonna plant from the inside of this cattle panel, and I've just got this little tool. I need to know what my tools are called. I never know what they're called, and if I tried to say what this was, I'd probably say a little spicy fork thing. Spicy. I meant spiky. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so I like to just break up the dirt. It's been a while since Chris has tilled. We try not to like completely over-till the dirt, but he does like to till in between our rows to try and keep the weeds at bay as much as possible. But we tilled and then we mounded up our rows, but there are some weeds that have come up on the rows. I just want to make sure I kind of break them up and disturb their roots so hopefully they don't thrive while our pumpkins are trying to germinate. And this also keeps the soil nice and loose, which helps those roots grow down into the ground and the little seeds sprout up through the dirt if the dirt's not compacted. So I'm just gonna go down this row on both sides and break the dirt up. All right, that's better. So it's time to plant. And I am gonna do something a little bit different this year with my pumpkins that I didn't do last year. So I did not do any companion planting or anything like that with my pumpkins last year, but I have these beautiful like trellises that my husband has built, and I want to make the most of them. So I was looking up good companion plants for pumpkins, and green beans are great for pumpkins because they put a lot of nitrogen, not chin, I know how to say the word, it just came out goofy. Nitrogen in the soil and they help feed pumpkins, which are heavy feeders. So what we're going to do is plant these greasy beans. So these were a gift from Miss Katie Combs. I bet if y'all have TikTok or Instagram, you probably know who she is. She is like an influencer and shares her life on there, but she is hilarious and I love her to pieces. I got to meet her when I was on tour with Blake Shelton a couple months back. So she gave me these, and they are called greasy beans. They are an Appalachian heirloom variety of pole beans, and she says they're absolutely delicious. And for a long time people thought that they had gone extinct, but they're not. Some woman had them, and then she started saving the beans, and now you can get greasy beans. So I'm really excited to get to try these, and I figured since they are pole varieties, this is the perfect opportunity with our pumpkins. Okay, I think I'm gonna make the holes for our pumpkin seeds first, and then I'll go back through and plant the greasy beans. That way I can see what I'm doing and how I'm spacing everything. So it says that pumpkins need to be spaced at least 3 feet apart. So that's what we're gonna try to do here. I'm gonna say a ruler is like that long, okay? This is not technical, but this is how we're doing it. So we've got 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. So I'm gonna say we're gonna do pumpkin here, pumpkin here. We're gonna space them every 3 feet, and then I'm gonna do my greasy beans in between my pumpkins. I have found that it is a lot easier to make all the holes that you're gonna sow your seeds into first, especially if you're doing a long row of stuff, and then cover it up, because sometimes you can lose your place. You don't know where you put a seed, and sometimes you can forget to put a seed a certain place. So this helps keep me on track. Okay, I've got all of my holes in the ground for my seeds, and something I thought about doing was kind of doing them catty-cornered. I know that's probably not the word, but basically on the edge of this panel, we started on the edge, but over here, instead of starting with pumpkins growing up the edge as well, so they meet in the middle, I just brought it a little bit over. So that way, hopefully, it'll fill out nicely and there won't be any bare spots along the panel. Does that make sense? Another thing I'm gonna do is interplant all my varieties, so we don't have like a patch of pie pumpkins and a patch of these Ghirardelli blue pumpkins, but that they're all mixed in together. So it says to plant these pumpkins 2 to 3 seeds in a mound, so I'm just gonna interplant them all over. Okay, y'all, I got everything but my green striped cushaw squash seeds in the ground. I have so many pumpkin seeds, and I wanna grow them all. Like, this is still full of seeds. My Long Island cheese is still full of seeds. And this is still full of seeds, which are my gourds, which I'm not gonna eat a gourd, so I didn't plant as many of these gourds. I mean, this is plenty of pumpkins for us, but I just hate having seeds and not being able to grow them. So maybe there'll be more space somewhere else, probably not. We've really planted out the whole garden, so I need to just chill. Okay, we're just gonna chill. All of those are planted. So now I'm gonna make our holes for our greasy beans right in between these pumpkin plants, and I'm gonna plant 2 little spots of the greasy beans right in between each plot of the pumpkins. Unless it seems small, then I'll just do 1. We'll just play it by ear. All right, I'm gonna put 2 beans per hole. All right, so we've got all of our pumpkins and our beans planted. So now I'm just gonna go down both rows and make sure that they're buried good in the soil. These are sown about 1 inch deep. We're just gonna cover them up, and then when I'm done planting everything, I'll go back through and water it in. All right, so we are at the end of our pumpkins, and now we are gonna do a little patch of onions. Took me a minute, but I got there. These are buncheon onions, so they'll never grow like a big bulb, but they give that flavor of onion, and you can come through and they're cut and come again. So you can snip off as much as you want from the tops. They'll keep growing up from the roots, and you can use them in all kinds of dishes. So I was really excited to try these. We tried to do some bulb onions as well this year, but I had horrible germination. I was on the road when I was sowing the seeds, so I wasn't home to keep them consistently moist. So I'm sure that it was my problem and not the seeds. But these actually grew. So we're gonna get these in the ground right here beside of our pumpkins. And I'm gonna go through and just break up this dirt. I need my little tool. It's back there, let me get it. Okay, so we're just gonna break the dirt up right here. And I'm gonna pop these onions right out of the seed cell, and these pull apart really easily, just like that. And I'll plant the individual plant into the ground. I should probably look up how far apart these are supposed to be spaced, but my cell phone is recording right now, so there's no way for me to ask Google, okay? So what I'm gonna do is plant them pretty closely, because I feel like since they're not growing a bulb, they really shouldn't have to be that spaced out, you know? We'll see, I could be wrong. Now I'm just gonna go down the rest of this row till they're all on the ground. All right, I decided to double these up because I knew that we had a lot of onions, especially once I started separating them. So I've got the onions in the ground, and now I I gotta figure out what's next. I think I'm gonna do some okra and some sunflowers down at the end of this row. Right down here from my onions, I'm gonna plant some okra on this row. I grew this okra last year and we didn't eat much of it, so I didn't really want to grow it this year, but then I realized I had all these seeds left. I don't know if you can see, but I have a bunch. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them in the ground. We'll see if we eat any more of it this year in comparison to last year. I just need to be better about getting out here and harvesting it when they're small, because that was my problem last year. I let them get too big and then they're tougher than a bull's butt and you can't even eat them. Okay, so these need to be planted about a foot apart. So I'm gonna go in and make all my holes. And since I have so many seeds, I'm going to sow them liberally and then I can always come back and thin them once they sprout. I'll put 3 seeds per hole and I'll probably still have seeds left over. All right, we have some space from where our okra ends back here to where our corn starts. And we're gonna do this part of the row and then the one on the other side, the same length of watermelons. These watermelons we're gonna plant on this side are strawberry watermelons from the Southern Exposure Seed Exchange. I've never used these seeds before, but I'm really excited to try them. They were a gift from a fan who came to a meet and greet on the Blake tour. And so I'm really, really excited to get to grow these. I wish I had her Instagram or something so that I could send her pictures whenever they grow. Maybe she'll see this. So I'm just going through and breaking up the dirt. I just want this soil to be nice and loose. Okay, I'm gonna go about 12 inches from our last okra plant and make a hole. I'm just gonna space these watermelons out every 12 inches. Now that our holes are made, I'm just gonna put 2 seeds in every hole and I can always thin them later. But this way, we know that one will at least germinate. And then before I plant out the front half of this row, I wanted to just go ahead and come across and plant out the other side of our watermelons, just because it feels like the right thing to do. Okay, onions, okra, and watermelon are all in. The only part we have left to plant is this little patch between the end of that rail and where you see that dirt dug up back there, which makes me kind of sad. I know I want to plant some more sunflowers, so I'm trying to decide, should I do those on the end of our pumpkin row, or should I do them, I reckon I'll just do them right here at the end of our pumpkin row. All right, I've broken up the dirt to be in line with our onion patch over there, and we'll just do that same distance of sunflowers if we've got enough seeds. We'll see, because I've already sown some of these. So these need to be 6 to 8 inches apart. I'm gonna just drop these seeds in as I go. Okay, I feel like I saved something boring for last, but it's practical, and that's why we do this, because we're gonna eat this food. So I got a complimentary salad mix with my order from In My Gardener this year. And I wanted to grow more lettuce because I wanted to start eating more salads. I usually don't eat a whole lot of salad when I'm at home and I'm cooking, because Chris doesn't like salad. He don't like vegetables other than green beans. That's why we have so many green beans growing in this garden. But I love salad. And I've started making it more for myself, and I realized it's not that hard to make him something and make me a salad. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think that we're just gonna pour this in here, and honestly, we might not need this much space. It doesn't give me any instruction. It just says it's a blend of greens. So let's see. I'm just gonna make a little divot in the soil right here and tap these seeds in as far as they'll go. And last but not least are these little English daisies and snapdragons that we started from seed indoors. This little space right here is perfect for them. And I'm gonna pack these in here, and we'll have a little patch of flowers right here too. All right, y'all, I got everything watered in. It's these last 2 rows that we mainly planted today, and I cannot wait to see what comes from it. This is a really exciting and kind of test your patience time in the garden. I feel like the harvest is so fun because it's so rewarding. It's like the fruits of all your efforts. But this is a fun time too because all the seedlings are popping up, and you know that summer and the harvest season is right around the corner. So we officially have 2025's garden planted and done. Now we just get to maintain it and watch it grow. So if you want to see more gardening videos and all things home, please consider subscribing to our channel. We would love to have you here, a part of our family. Thank you so much for planting this garden out with us and being on this journey with us. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, y'all.